Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show with another New York City exploration video for you. Today we're going to be exploring Harlem Heights and Highbridge. As you can see, it was another cloudy, dismal day in New York City, but about 20 of us got together and we decided to go exploring. So let's get started. New York City still has an abundance of water tanks in certain neighborhoods if you know where to look for them. We started out on this section of road. This is called the Harlem River Driveway. It is the last surviving section of what was originally built in the early 1900s and called the Harlem River Driveway. This was actually built for horse and carriages. You got it. Horse and carriages used to traverse this and continue all the way up north to Dyckman Street. This is the last surviving section, I say, because the Harlem River Drive was built and wiped out the original Harlem River Driveway. These concrete barriers on the right were added about 10 years ago, I think, because on the other side of it is a bike path and a walking path, and this protects people from cars. Because let me tell you something, at nighttime, people drive crazy on this road. There is a crossing right about here, I think it is. It's basically out of camera range. And I'm going to show you a better shot of it later. Because in the old days, people would come down a staircase here. As I said, these barriers were not here. And they would go to the old polo grounds, which were located, again, right where these projects are right now. This is the location of the old polo grounds. I am not old enough to remember them, and I guess probably most of you guys aren't either. But yeah. This is what they call Manhattan schist. It is a rock formation that's common to the Highbridge area. Here's a group of us getting ready. We're standing on what is known as Coogans Bluff. Many of you guys remember an old Clint Eastwood movie called Coogans Bluff. This staircase is the one I talked about earlier that leads directly across to the old polo grounds, or should I say it did lead there. Some of you guys who've been watching my videos for many years remember I did a video about this staircase, I guess about 3 or 4 years ago. As you can see, this is the way it was back in the day, although the staircase itself has been totally rehabilitated. Here's a group of my friends looking down at me while I'm taking pictures. We came across this old 1950s era fallout shelter sign. Something you don't see much anymore, but back in the day, this is something that was very common in apartment buildings in case people had to take shelter from an air raid. This is a very ornate fire escape that I thought was worth taking a picture of. This is an original blue slate pathway from back in the day. We went to visit the Morris-Jumel Mansion. I've never been there before, but we're lucky we got inside. It's located on the corner of 160th and Count Basie Place. These are original cobblestones. Some call them Belgian brick. Here's a street, original pavement. Back in the day, let me go back to that for a second. I forgot to tell you something. It is said that back in the day, these residents were inhabited by servants who worked at the Morris-Jumel Mansion, which I'll be showing you shortly. This is Sylvan Terrace, by the way. There's an old fire alarm box across the street from the mansion. Let's now go inside the mansion. The important thing about the Morris-Jumel Mansion is that this is the oldest standing residence in New York City, having been built in 1760. We did not go inside as we didn't have a heck of a lot of time. But again, original blue slate. Look at that view. I mean, it's not so spectacular in the summertime, but when there's no foliage around, you can see forever, as they say. Nice weather vane. This is a mile marker. It is not in the original place it was at the very beginning. It was moved here years ago. This is someplace I hope none of you guys ever have to go. The Edgecombe Correctional Facility. We did not go inside there either, but this is something that I'd never seen before. That's a mural painted on the side of a building. Very nice, very talented artist. The 33rd Precinct, where Officer John Smith works. This is under construction at this time. What they're doing is they're working on the facade of the building because it was in disrepair and pieces of it were falling off. This is the old lighthouse, and you may remember it was rehabilitated, oh gosh, about 30 years ago. Legend has it, and I do believe it to be true. Let me go back. Legend has it that there was a guy in there, a vandal, and he set the place on fire. And once it caught fire, he couldn't get out, and he jumped to his death. There you can see the leaves turning color for you leaf peepers. Here's a nice view of the Highbridge. Again, those of you guys who've seen my videos over the years know that I did a video on this bridge about a year ago. We're going to go down on it again because it was part of the route. There's a close-up of the lighthouse. These stairs are part of the steepest staircase in New York City. I'm telling you, these challenge you unless you're in really good shape. Going down is relatively easy. As you can see, everybody's going down with no problem. Going up is not so easy, but we'll get to that later. Here is another view of the Highbridge, the oldest bridge in New York. It was originally called, and still is by some, the Croton Aqueduct Bridge because it carries the water supply upstate. There you can see 1848 right there. Now this bridge was totally rehabilitated a few years ago. It's sad because it was shut down for many, many years. This is a look down at the Harlem River Drive. You guys remember I've done videos about this Harlem River Drive viaduct in the past as well. That's going up. I do believe, and I don't believe, I know they're going to tear this down in the next, I'd say, 5 to 10 years because it is showing age. So I will be doing more videos up close about the Harlem River Drive viaduct. The view up here is spectacular. This is a Harlem River Drive, which years ago used to be called the Harlem River Driveway and was connected to that road that I showed you at the beginning of the video. This, of course, is the Harlem River. The first bridge with the blue arch here is the Cross Bronx Expressway 95. The one behind it is some call it the Martha Washington Bridge or the 181st Street Bridge. Over here are the ramps that lead to the Major Deegan. That's the Major Deegan on the right there. That's another area I'm going to explore because there's a lot of good stuff down there. This is the bridge itself. There are two kinds of pavements on the bridge. This brick is part of the area that's been rehabilitated. The black railing you see on the left and the right is also brand new. But originally, now think about this, originally the railing was maybe about half the height. Can you imagine walking across this bridge with a really low railing? It made a lot of people uncomfortable, and I'm telling you, I would be uncomfortable too walking across with a really low railing. Today, of course, they have these protective nets up. Another look at the Harlem River Drive from Highbridge. There's a good look at the railing. If it was just for this railing alone, even this would be considered low by today's standards. This is a look at the other stonework on the other side of the Highbridge. This is original. We are now crossing over onto the Bronx side. Some of you guys who've been with me for many years and watched a lot of my videos may recognize the Bronx side a little bit. Does anything look familiar to you there? Especially here? Does anybody recognize this area? Years ago, I did a video down here, shot on location, called PayPal Revenge. It's still uploaded in my videos, so you can check it out if you want. But it's about 10 years old, and it was filmed all over New York City, and I shot a good chunk of it right here and over here. This is the Major Deegan. All the corkscrew ramps on the Major Deegan are being rebuilt, totally rebuilt, into these concrete boring superstructures. This is looking south on the Major Deegan. This brick building on the left here is the old 44th police station, the 44th precinct. The police still use this building, but for another purpose. This is Defoe Place, okay? I'm going to be going down there in a future video. I've been down there before, but it's extremely photogenic. Again, this is a look at Highbridge. I'm standing on the Bronx side now, facing Manhattan. And again, what's interesting here is this little gas station. You can hardly see it, but I'm going to zoom in on it right there. This gas station has been there as long as I've been alive, and it continues to thrive. You wouldn't think so. With these two little pumps right here, all right? It's always been this way, as long as I can remember it. Oh, by the way, that's located on Sedgwick Avenue. There are several of these plaques in the ground on the High Line. Let me start again. There are several of these plaques on the Highbridge. They are not original. They were placed there when the bridge was rehabilitated. Right here, this is maybe about halfway across the Highbridge, or a little more. This is the demarcation line. The red brick is the new, and the crisscross brick is the old, and the old brick was put over the stone section of the Highbridge. Picture of the Harlem River Drive ramp. You'll notice the rust here. As I've told you in previous videos, this entire section here, this rectangular section, fell through on the outside and even in the right lane. And what they had to do was shut it down for a while and restore the concrete underneath. All right? It's still not in the best of shape, and I know sooner or later they're going to close this majestic structure down and they're going to rebuild it into a boring concrete monolith. I just got a kick out of this van with all the tires on it. Here, this is in Washington Heights. I believe it was 176th Street. The gentleman was cooking food on the open grill. I thought that was cool. This is a movie house. It used to be a movie house originally. Now it's a church. And this here is my last picture of the day. I just figured I would take it. This is Broadway. And basically, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little look at Washington Heights and the Highbridge. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to state them below. I will be making more of these type videos, especially now that the foliage is dying. I can get out there and do some more explorations. I'm planning on doing Kew Gardens for the next, when I get a chance. And a few other places in Queens I want to do, and the Bronx. So thank you for watching, guys. Rock on, and peace!